Christian Maurice Gant of Buckaroo Brothers Productions in my part three of my James Dean collection, the biographies, the biopics of James Dean. We're going to start first off with a 1970s biopic called James Dean, made for TV movie starring Stephen McHattie, who I did not know played James Dean at the time, but he did a really good job for what the time was in the 70s. And it's pretty much about his relationship with William Best, the screenwriter who befriended him and lived with him for a time. We go forward to Casper Van Dien as James Dean, and James Dean Back with Destiny. And this is pretty much about his love affair with Pierre Angeli and their breakup. And pretty much Robert Mitchum plays George Stevens in it. We have some other characters in it. Carrie Mitchum plays Pierre Angeli. One of those relationships that is timeless, should I say. I thought Casper Van Dien did a good job in it. I think he was pretty much a great James Dean. He pretty much embodied it, should I say, for that time, should I say. And let me get you this one's back. So we see pictures of James Dean and in his porch and other people that he knew. Same thing there. Then we go over to James Dean, the James Franco James Dean, which is one of my personal favorites. I love this movie so much. It goes on a little bit more throughout his whole entire life, and it's probably one of the better biopics on James Dean, in my opinion. I think he did an awesome job. I have a nice story about James Franco. I told him that I really love this movie, and he says, "Oh, you like James Dean?" I go, "Yeah." I go, "You did a really good job." And then he goes, he was on a bicycle, and he was driving around this convention, and he stopped to talk to me for a minute, and he goes, "Oh, you're a fan," and he drove off. So that was my experience with James Franco, and telling him that he did a good job with James Dean. Then we go to a great biopic called Life. Not the Eddie Murphy Life, but Joe Egerton and Robert Pattinson is in it. Robert Pattinson plays the photographer friend of his. And I believe it's Joe Egerton that plays James Dean. Pretty much about his life in New York when they were taking those great pics of him on the street there, and him going back to his home in Illinois, and meeting his family. And it's a pretty good film. I really enjoyed it. I recommend seeing it. I mean, every single person did a different take on it, I think. Then we go Portrait of James Dean. Not really a biopic, but more a sort of interpretation of James Dean's life. It's called Portrait of James Dean, Joshua Tree, 1951. And it's a pretty good film. It has a lot of different things in it that James Dean was sort of doing in this time period. But I recommend it. It's weird, sort of James Dean film. But this is far one of my favorite James Dean biopics. I think James Dean did a good job for being a great actor, and he's probably one of my favorite actors. I have to admit. I will say this: he influenced me a lot as a filmmaker and actor, and yeah, that's it for the last of the James Dean DVDs I have. There is one more, but it's more a television companion piece, television companion piece, lesser stuff, but in the same vein of what the bigger 2-disc version that I showed the other day was like. And I guess I'll talk to you guys later. Christian Maurice Scant, out.